Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 28th day of April, 2026. Hope you're all safe and healthy today, and your family's also safe and healthy. And the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders doing their best every day to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those that are helping the people that are victims of prostitution, victims of child prostitution, victims of pornography, victims of child pornography, victims of human trafficking, and victims of sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that cause these industries to exist. And finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There's going to be a basketball game tonight in Madison Square Garden. Game 5, New York Knicks against the Atlanta Hawks. Now, I watched the game last night as Orlando beat Detroit, and I was curious. I saw what Orlando was doing to beat Detroit in terms of putting one of the 6'10 guys, usually it was Franz Wagner, on Cade Cunningham, making Cade work harder for his points, and then really doing a good job cutting off the option of Duran as well. So they did that yesterday. Again, they were really making Cade work hard. He took 23 shots. He was 7 for 23, 3 for 11 from the field. That's pretty much the story of the series. And then Jalen Duran only had 12 points last night. He had 8 rebounds. He was minus 11. They were cutting off the lobs, cutting off the outlet to him. They really did a good job also on Duncan Robinson. They didn't have to double Duncan Robinson, and so they kept him at bay as well. So it was their defense. From the regular season to now, Orlando has tremendously changed one big item: rebounding. Orlando, before this, when the regular season, they were like in the teens or high teens in terms of rebounding in the league. But since the playoffs, they really have stepped up. They have taken in at least 7 more boards a game than they did during the course of the season. They're getting 47 rebounds a game. I think they were getting like 42 or 43 during the season. That's really where they stepped up the game. Now, I've noticed as a rule across the NBA, everybody's assist numbers are down because it's more of a half-court game. And so you get a lot less, I guess the ball movement is more difficult to come by in the NBA, which is what makes the Knicks such an advantage. If they could get the ball to cat anytime they want, it's up to Jalen Brunson, which according to Rick, he's going to start doing. So that was the big thing for them. Now, what I noticed last night, what I wanted to notice was what was going to be J.B. Bickerstaff's counter to Mosley's strategy against Cunningham, and I saw it. Okay, the Achilles heel. You look at on paper. You look at Orlando, 3, 6, 10 guys across the front, and they're using them. They're changing them to guard the guys on, because all 3 of them are athletic enough to guard anybody on Detroit. But the Achilles heel is they can't shoot. That's the Achilles heel. See, and that's why Orlando brought in and paid so much for Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is their top gun. He's the real. Him and Tristan Da Silva are the big shooters in their rotation. They have other guys, like Jet Howard could shoot. They got a couple guys could shoot, but look at it. These, as far as their 3-point shooters, Suggs takes 10 a game. This is playoff now. I'm not even talking about, because it's the same during the season, but his playoffs more highlighted. But Suggs takes 10 3-pointers per game. He hits 26%. Bane takes 9 3-pointers per game. He hits 44%, which he hit some big ones last night. Then Paolo Banchero takes 4 3-pointers per game and only hits 27%. Then you got Wendell Carter. He takes 2, shooting at 22%. And then Franz Wagner, he takes 2, only shooting 33%. And in the playoff, like during the season, Tristan Da Silva was hitting almost 40%, but during these playoffs, he's hitting 33. And then Anthony Black is hitting 25. So what I noticed, what JB was doing was packing back in the lane to let them shoot threes. Okay, except for Bane. But everybody else, and even Bane, though, he was trying to cover him, but Bane is a tough cover. And Bane was hitting his three. So he was packing the lane and making them shoot threes. And they couldn't hit him. They started off the game real hyped. First quarter, they was out by 12. But 12 ain't 20. And Detroit stayed cool, stayed with their game plan, and all of a sudden they took the lead. So they were really, having trouble, that is Orlando, hitting their three-pointers. Last night, again, Desmond Bane was 5 of 10 from 3. But look, Suggs was 1 of 11. Banchero 0 for 4. Wagner 1 for 3. Carter 1 for 2. Da Silva 1 for 3. So Detroit was saying, okay, beat us from the three-point line. And they couldn't. Now we know the Knicks strategy. The Knicks strategy is pack the lane. Make sure you're getting the rebound, because Orlando's a top rebound. And why am I talking about Orlando now? They're going to beat Detroit. They up 3-1. They're gonna end Detroit's season, either next game or the game after that. It's over. Last night, I saw that was the key thing here. They packed it in, and Detroit was letting Orlando shoot, but Orlando was still determined. Paolo Banchero saw it. I mean, they know what, each team know what the other team's strategy is. There's no surprise. So Banchero, Wagner, they was trying to get in the paint, even though they was packed in. And that's what it came down to, okay? And of course, as I mentioned yesterday, Detroit does not have a secondary guy that can score off the dribble. And in a game like this, you need a guy that can use his dribble to get in the lane. They only have Cunningham to do that. Asor Thompson's off ball. Duran is off ball. Robinson is off ball. Harris is off ball. All of them are off ball. They actually had a guy, Jaden Ivey. But anyway, they don't have him no more. But Dennis Jenkins, he could get in the lane off his dribble. He played 13 minutes last night. He was +2. But again, he was 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. Okay? So the key thing is to block the lane. Okay? Both teams. But for Orlando, Detroit was trying to block the lane, and they did. And notice the final score, 94-88. Nobody was hitting their threes. It was hard. It was very difficult, except Bane. Bane came through. Bane was the one with the dagger last night. There was nobody, I mean, like I said, Cunningham was 3 for 11. Nobody was hitting their threes last night except Desmond Bane. That he's the only one, okay? That's the guy. That's why they got him, to be able to shoot them threes. And of course, at 6'6", 215, he's a tough dude to try to score on as well. So that's the key. But in the end, Orlando, I think, is going to be too much. And this game is really a street fight between these two teams. It's beautiful watching them play, man. It's a street fight between these two teams. Banchero shot 4 of 18, but that's another thing. They get to the line. They shot 34 shots from the line last night. Detroit shot 28, and Banchero himself was 10 of 13 from the line. Wendell Carter 5 of 8 from the line. Wagner 4 of 4. They get inside and they get to the line. So the Knicks have got to be able to. This is going to be a series where Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns are going to play big roles on both sides because of that ability to guard the rim and rebound the basketball, and Mitch Rob on the lob threat, because Mitch Rob is Jalen Duran. But then Karl-Anthony Towns, they ain't got no answer for him. They don't. They're going to try to guard him with Wendell Carter. They're going to try to guard him with Franz Wagner. They can't guard him. If the Knicks feed Cat, it's a wrap. Okay? If the Knicks feed Cat. If Jalen Brunson wants to play hero ball, it's a series. But if they feed Cat, it's a wrap. Okay? And it comes down to the same thing tonight. They're playing Atlanta. If Jalen Brunson decides to play hero ball, this is going to go 7 games. If he feeds Cat, it's a wrap. Period. The only thing could stop the Knicks if they stick with that is somebody getting hurt or foul trouble. And this is the playoffs, so there's not as bad foul trouble. I mean, the Knicks have been very good about staying out of foul trouble. And so if they feed Cat, everybody being equal, it's a wrap. And then you got Deuce still. You got, Now, unfortunately, they're going, Shamet has been out of the rotation. I don't like that. But I understand what Coach Brown said yesterday. He said we needed backup point guard minutes. And we all understand Deuce can play both sides, but if he can put Alvarado in there, he can play more off ball than his Deuce can. And so can Brunson. And Alvarado will handle the point guard responsibilities. And so that's really, you got Brunson, Alvarado, and Deuce, and Deuce can play both, and he can play off ball. So that opens up the game for the Knicks. That's what it is. So I'm telling you, so the next game is going for as far as Detroit, Orlando is going to be in Detroit, and it's going to be a tough. They may not win that game, but right now it's 3-1. Orlando just got to win one of the next two, either in Detroit or in Orlando, and I'm telling you, they're going to win one of the next two. That series is over. Okay, so the question is it going to be 5 games or 6 games? And it's all due to the same weakness. They only got one dude that could really handle the rock and get into the paint on his dribble, Cade Cunningham. Like I said, they had a guy, but they traded him because of his religion or whatever. But Jaden Ivey could do it. But it don't matter now. Karis LeVert could do it too. But he is he's a step slower than when he first came out of Michigan, when he was on the Nets, and all of that. And then on Cleveland, he's a little bit slower, half step slower, so he can't do it as effectively. And daggone Beef Stew was a monster last night. Beef Stew had 8 blocks last night, and he was a monster. At 6'8", he was doing business guarding the rim last night. He really was. And so he only scored 8 points, but that don't tell the story. Beef Stew was all that last night. But that's the key. They can't change now. This is Detroit. There's nothing they could do except hope that Cade could drop 40 a game. And he's going to try. Like I said, he's going to try. So that's all they could do is hope Cade drop 40 a game, and maybe they have a chance to come back and win this series. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay? And as far as the Magic, if the Knicks play the Magic, the key's going to be back them off them. Go under. Except for with Bane. You got to have a guy on Bane, and that you got Deuce, you got McCall, and you got Hart. And between them 3, they could guard Bane, okay? But you're going to need them to go over on that, okay? Because Bane is the shooter. The rest of them are inside players, all of them, within the 3-point line. Dangerous now, but if you play your cards right, you got OG, you got Cat, you got Mitchell Robinson, and then of course you're going to depend on McCall. It's gonna be a dogfight, and then Hart too. So they're 6'10", they're big. So we're gonna have to really battle with them. But I believe the Knicks can. So here, the Knicks gotta win tonight. The series ain't over tonight. The Knicks gotta win tonight to take it to 3-2. Then they go back to it to ATL. But again, it's really a function of Cat. Period. And that's a function of Brunson. Period. Okay? Brown has to decide. If Brunson's not going to listen to him, play him less minutes. Like in the game the other day, the game they beat Atlanta the other day, let's see here. Let me look at the stats for a second. I get the feeling Brunson played less minutes. And I don't think it was just because he was hurt either. Let me see. And the 2 games that the Knicks lost, the total was 2 points. And that's them playing bad. That's Brunson playing hero ball. When Brunson decided, with the help of his father, to play point guard, it wasn't as close a game. So Brunson played 34 minutes Saturday night, and Deuce played 23 minutes, and Alvarado played 14 minutes. That's about right. And I'd say, like, if he's going, that is Brunson going to give him a hard time about giving up the rock and trying to battle against Dyson Daniels, play him less than 34 minutes. Play him 30, play him 28. Okay, and give Alvarado more minutes, because we'll have a chance to win then. Okay, homeboy, that is Brunson, he shot 7 of 18, more efficient, and again, Rick getting in his behind helped us a lot. Rick's like telling him, move the basketball, and telling him, and he's trying to beg about, I don't know what. All he was doing was 6 turnovers. So anyway, let OG, let McCall, let Deuce, let Josh Hart, let them bring the ball up. Get it to Cat. Go off ball. We'll reduce our turnovers. We'll increase the assists from Cat and the overall ball movement, and will be too much for the ATL. They got no answer for that. Not Gaye, not Okongwu, not Jalen Johnson. They got no answer for Cat. That's the problem they got. The only thing what will happen in these situations is you're going to see Daniels, Nicole Walker-Alexander, and C.J. McCollum try to go at Cat defensively and create fouls. Because the only hope they got is if Cat fouls out. That's it. Okay? That's the only hope they got. And if the Knicks, like Mitchell Rob, played 15 minutes, I think if we can squeeze 20 out of him, now you can get more out of Cat. That all is dependent. He played 29 minutes Saturday night, and that was perfect. 29-30 is good for him. But if you could get a couple more minutes out of Mitchell Robinson, that's giving Cat some rest and putting a different dynamic. The lob threat is now on the floor, right? And so you got that. Now, the hacker Mitch is irrelevant because, and somebody's going to mention it to me anyway because they're not going to listen to the video, but the hacker Mitch is irrelevant because it only makes any difference if the Knicks are in the bonus. And when they're in the bonus, you take Mitch out. Okay, and that's what Brown has been doing. They're in the bonus, you take Mitch out. Okay, and so then, and in fact, he was 2 of 3 from the line the last game. So you take him out there in the bonus unless he's hitting his foul shots, then it don't matter, does it? So that's been nullified by Brown's strategy and by Mitch Rob. So that's the only issue. You put Mitch in there, you got the lob threat as well as the defensive anchor. So you put Cat in there, you got the point of attack dude. You got now a new head of the snake that they can't do nothing about. So it's the proper strategy, which I'm sure they know. And so it's really up to Jalen Brunson and everybody, Josh Hart, McCall Bridges, OG, and Anobi. They've all been, only one been quiet is Cat, because Cat understands his position on this team. He don't want to rock the boat. He wants to win. So he don't want to talk, but OG talked about more ball movement. McCall says the ball has to find him. Hart just came out and said Brunson hogging the ball. So they know, okay? It's up to Brunson to acquiesce and do this. He has to overcome himself. So the Knicks' biggest problem is not anybody on Atlanta. It's the Knicks. All right? So we just got to hope Brunson comes out to pass. I would rather see Brunson only take 10 shots and Cat get 20. I'm going to tell you, if that's the case, you're going to see the Knicks winning going away. It won't even be close. Okay? You'll be seeing Tyler Kolek in them in the fourth quarter. Okay? But if he doesn't and he starts getting 6 turnovers and all that, it's going to be a little harder. Even though that was the case Saturday night, 6 turnovers, the Knicks still won by 16. They were up by 20 when Kolek and them came in the game. So it's up to Jalen Brunson. It really comes down to him. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm pretty confident. Brunson is stubborn, but he ain't stupid. So, and in case he forgets, his daddy right over there to remind him. So let's get this. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say those words, but let's play basketball the right way. Let the chips fall where they may. Y'all enjoy the game tonight. Shalom.